Hey everybody, and welcome back to Exploring Dirt. We are going to be making beef jerky today. So again, still preparing for our vacation for this summer. We started dehydrating last year and making our own beef jerky and our own dehydrated meals. They turned out really well, so actually so well that I usually have to hide the beef jerky from my daughter and her boyfriend because they will come over and shove bags of it up their sleeves, and next thing you know, we have no beef jerky for our trip. So I don't know what I'm gonna label this, but anyways, it turned out really good. So today we are going to be making, it's called Sweet Heat Beef Jerky. So a little spicy, a little sweet, and it's one of our favorites. It's actually our favorite beef jerky for all of us. So we're gonna get started. First thing we're gonna do is make the marinade. So with this marinade, we start with half a cup of soy sauce, a quarter cup of Worcestershire, I hate saying that word, quarter cup of ketchup, 4 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 6 tablespoons of brown sugar. It doesn't matter if it's light brown sugar or dark brown sugar. 4 teaspoons of smoked paprika, a tablespoon of chili powder, and a tablespoon of cayenne, a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder. The nice thing about this is you can actually control the amount of salt and everything that you put in it, besides the soy sauce, but use low sodium, healthier. And then, of course, because we like some heat, about a teaspoon of chili flakes. So we're just gonna mix this all up here. So simple to make. And it's usually ingredients that you already have on hand in your cupboard or in your fridge. There we go. We have our Sweet Heat jerky marinade. So now I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna start cutting up the roast, and then we're gonna marinate that roast for about 12 hours before it goes in the dehydrator. So our Sweet Heat beef jerky marinade is sitting over here. It's all ready to go. We are going to cut up our roast. I have an eye of round that I got from Costco. The reason I want to get the eye of round is it's a leaner cut of meat. You definitely don't want something with a lot of marbling, because well, let's be honest, those of us that like beef jerky and you have those big chunks of fat, it's not the best. So, and it doesn't dehydrate very well either. So a nice lean roast, I'm going to unpackage this, and then I'm actually going to trim a lot of this fat off as well. There's quite a bit on the outside, but the roast on the inside is nice and lean. So I'm going to unpackage this and we'll start cutting it up and getting it ready to go into the marinade. So as you can see, I trimmed most of the fat off of the roast. I did cut it into 4 pieces just because it is a lot easier for me to cut it up, and you get smaller pieces of jerky that way too. So we're going to start cutting up the roast. You want a nice sharp knife because you have to cut it quite thin. You don't want it too thick. And a nice trick, which I did not do this time, was because it was already frozen. I bought it from Costco and then stuck it in the freezer. So, but what you can do, if you buy the roast fresh, put it in your freezer for about 2 hours. So you kind of get that nice little bit of freezing around the outside, and then it's a lot easier to cut that thinly. So, you know, and try to make sure to have it uniform as much as possible, same thickness of slices. It does dehydrate a lot better and more evenly, so you don't get some of those really tough pieces that may have been a little bit overhydrated. And you need, when you're dehydrating, you need to make sure that it is dehydrated, because beef jerky can actually last quite a long time in the bags. And I'm going to show you the bags that I use once the beef jerky is completed, because I use these special Mylar bags for all of our dehydrated meals actually. So, and they work really, really well. So again, as uniform as you can get it. Nice sharp knife. Make sure you don't cut yourself. I take my time. So I'm going to continue cutting all of this up. Then we're going to put it into some Ziploc bags. You don't have to use Ziploc bags. I just find it's easier, and all of the pieces get marinated better if you put them into, I usually do 4 Ziploc bags for a roast this size. Distribute the marinade evenly amongst the 4 bags, and then they're going to sit in the fridge for 12 hours marinating before they go into the dehydrator. So I've got all of the roast cut up, separated into the 4 baggies, like I said, our sweet heat marinade. So we are just going to equally, as equal as we can, pour over top of the meat. A little bit extra here for each of them. You get just over a cup of sauce, so if you separate it into the 4 bags, if you want to be really accurate, go ahead, and it's about a 1/4 cup per bag. I'm not that particular, so I don't really mind. So we're gonna seal these up. This is why I like the baggies. You could do them in a bowl. I like the baggies because you can make sure and just use your hands and make sure that they are really well, all of the pieces, because they're so thin so they stick together. So this is a really great way that you can just massage all the marinade in. And once we do that to all 4 bags, oh, looks good. And it's nice in the fridge because you can just kind of lay them down and stack them on top of each other while they sit in the fridge for the next 12 hours. 12 to 24. If you can't get to it in 12 hours, no problem. I do suggest a minimum 12 hours though, so all of that flavor gets into the meat. And we'll come back tomorrow after they're sitting in the fridge, and we will prep them and put them on the dehydrator trays. I've already got my dehydrator all ready to go. I'm just gonna finish making sure that the marinade is all over all of those really thin pieces of meat. Put them in the fridge, and then I'm gonna come back tomorrow, leave them overnight, come back tomorrow, and we will get them ready to go into the dehydrator. So the beef has been marinating in the fridge overnight. Now we need to prep it to go into the dehydrator. So we're just gonna lay it out. I've spread out some parchment and some paper towel. Because we want it to dehydrate, what we need to do is lay it all out and kind of pat the moisture from it. It's been sitting in the marinade now for well over 12 hours. So we're just I'm gonna take it out of here and spread it all out, because it takes longer to dehydrate with all of that moisture. That's why you want to marinate it for at least 12 hours. So all of that awesome flavor gets right into the meat. So I'm just gonna work away here. This takes some time. I know it takes some time to do this. So that's why we started dehydrating early. It's really cold and snowy out there today. A good day to stay inside and dehydrate our meals for when the weather's nicer. So I've put out the first baggie of the jerky on the paper towel, and then you really just want to get a lot of that moisture out. It's going to take forever to dehydrate if you don't. You trust me, you're still going to get the flavor in it. Just kind of pat it dry and get a little bit of the excess off. My daughter showed up today. Luckily, she didn't go in the fridge to see the marinating beef jerky. She'd be all over it and probably hovering over until it was done so she can take every bag home. So there we go. We've got that all done there. And then we're going to lay it on our trays. You want to make sure that you leave space and that it lays flat. So leave a little bit of space in between, that way the airflow can get through them. Make sure none of the meat is folded over in half or it's not going to dehydrate evenly. It's kind of like putting a Tetris puzzle together to see how much jerky you can get onto one tray. So I have 8 trays, which is good because this looks like one bag is going to fill up 2 trays. You don't really want them touching, but you also use up as much space as you can. 1 tray down, and I'm just going to continue to do this with the rest of the bags and the rest of the trays. Then we're going to turn it on, let it sit. So we've got our last tray of jerky going into the dehydrator. We are going to set this at, let's turn it on, we're going to set it at 167 for 3 hours. We're going to check it at the 3-hour mark, see how it's doing. It will probably take about 6 hours, but every dehydrator is a little bit different. So we'll check back in with it in about 3 hours. So we're at about the 3-hour mark. We're just going to peek in here and have a look. Ooh, it's coming. It's coming along.
Looks good.
The only thing, one thing about this dehydrator is you have to keep flipping the racks around, which I just did a little while ago, but it's coming, almost done. A couple more hours, some beef jerky. All right, so our beef jerky spent about 7 hours in the dehydrator, and it is done and ready to be packaged up. I have a look. So you want to make sure that it's fully dehydrated. There's nothing glistening on it because the last thing you want is to have moisture inside the bags. So they look really ready to go. Looks so good. My 2 taste testers, Dan and Austin, have already tasted it and it's got the 2 thumbs up from them. I've got my bags ready to go and labeled. Oxygen absorbers ready to go. So I'm going to spend some time packaging up the bags and getting them ready for our next adventure. As I continue to package up the beef jerky, so far I have 7 bags. Looks like I'm probably going to get about 12 to 14 bags out of this. The nice thing about these bags is they are very thick. They hold out moisture, they're light blocking, and fully airtight. And when I order these, they actually come with the deoxidizers, which I throw in every bag, and that helps as well keep the moisture out. Last thing you want when you are on a trail or in the middle of the wilderness somewhere and you need a snack and you open it up and your beef jerky has spoiled or your dehydrated food is spoiled. So these are really good. They're Wallaby brand. I just got them off Amazon. They're pretty reasonable. You get 100 and they come in 3 different sizes. Hey, so everything is all packed up. The beef jerky is ready to go. The only thing I have to do next is go to my iron and seal the top. That's what's great about these bags is you can actually heat seal them as well. So we ended up getting 14 bags of beef jerky. We are ready for our next adventure. We have some yummy snacks to take with us. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is something a little bit different than what we usually do, but we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please subscribe, hit the like button below. Please send me a comment if you have some other great dehydrating recipes that you want to share. And also if you've tried this one, let me know how you like it. And Dan and I look forward for you to join us on our next adventure. Thanks for watching.